These are the HMX Snow Crash switches, the first rail bottom out switch by HMX, designed by Keepscape. Like the Cherry MX Blacks, Gat Milky Yellows, or Black Inks, these do not bottom out on a long pole, but rather the bottom of the sliders on the stem and the bottom of the rails on the bottom housing. Aside from the materials used, this usually leads to a clackier sound compared to a lot of long poles, and the HMX Snow Crash sounds pretty typical of that. I would say it has a bit of fullness to its sound though, and it doesn't really sound thin. For comparison, I've also recorded sound tests with my lubed Gat Milky Yellows and lubed and filmed MX2A Blacks. The construction of these switches is really solid too. The top housings are really secure and don't need films, and the stem wobble is very minimal. Just a little stem wobble compared to my roller linear switches. I normally don't care for stem wobble either, because most switches have an average amount that I don't care for, but with the roller linears and the snow crashes, I did eventually notice these felt really stable. Maybe because I tend to type heavy. So the first batch that Unikeys received had lube issues, where too much lube got at the bottom of the rails, and it made it very muted or sometimes mushy. HMX remade a whole batch of snow crash switches, and Unikeys and Keepscape sent replacements to everyone that had ordered from the first batch for free. A great service from everyone involved, unlike a certain other situation with botched switches. Thank you, Unikeys. And so, factory lube is very minimal on the new batches. There's just a little bit of grease on the leaf and nothing else on the stem or rails. Despite that, the materials of the switch help keep the push feel very smooth despite the minimal amount of lube. With a light layer of 205G0, I felt hardly any difference in smoothness with the one switch I lubed, so I'm leaving these stock. HMX also had an issue with leaf sticking in some of their other switches, and now they've gone back and fixed that issue on their side, and these Snowcrest switches have no leaf tick as well. The springs in these are fine, and I don't have any pinging or spring crunch. The switch is just great all around in my opinion. You don't have to open these up at all, which is one of the things HMX is known for, aside from a few switches that had problems. These are definitely in my top 3 switches, along with the KBD Fans Roller Linears and the Diamond Avalons that I have. At 35 cents a switch, it's easily the first thing I would recommend to anyone new to the hobby. Anyway, here are the sound tests. Thanks for watching.